Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong,
And Damon Armstrong.
along with Jaquari Armstrong, who's going to be with us momentarily. So this is let's see, let me steal a little bit. This is the world's most dangerous conversational show. We on the real, we do the real, and that's how we is real. But welcome to this edition. Um, I thank you. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and introduce yourself there, Uncle Smoke.
My bad, man.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, Uncle Smoke.
Uncle Spoke. That's who I am.
Ta-da!
Mhm.
Um, do us a favor. We're gonna start hitting y'all with commercials and things like that. But do us a favor, go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Build our numbers up. Hey, yeah, hey, look, folks, YouTube, out in the YouTube world, y'all bull jiving. We ain't built no numbers up. We ain't got no business being in 200 subscribers, 230 subscribers. Give us, give us free, give us free. But come and just take 30 seconds and subscribe. That's all you have to do. And then, matter of fact, while you're there subscribing, check out the content. You know what I mean? Check me out. Go if you on TikTok, come and check out my page. We got quite a few clips that's gaining traction, and matter of fact, this is the Wisdom Podcast. This is the Wisdom Podcast, and I say that because we've been on fire in the month of February. In fuego. So do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Check out our material, and please, in the comments, got questions. You want to make a statement, please do so on YouTube and also on Facebook. We love to hear from you guys. Okay? Be respectful, but please engage. With that being said, welcome. Damon, how was your day today, sir?
My day was it was okay until that tornado came through here. You know what I'm saying? It missed us, man, but it kept us on alert. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay, it's it's springtime. You know what I'm saying? But to piggyback on what you said about those 200 plus of subscribers we have, man. Thank you for riding with us, man. Appreciate y'all.
Definitely appreciate
Yeah.
y'all. Jaquari, how was your day today, sir?
My day was good, man. It was regular Friday and everything, and it was enough to help me get my mind right for this evening, so we can have a good conversation and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Um, usually this full disclosure. Damn. Usually full disclosures with you guys is, yeah. What we try to do is we get current events and we mix those current events with um I guess life lessons as men. Now this is not a macho statement where we men we standing 10 toes. We probably are. But I'm talking about as men because see, me personally, and I want your opinion about this guy. Me personally, men don't express themselves enough. We have an outline in which that's been constructed for us to follow. And the majority, I feel the majority of us follow that outline because we don't want nobody to look at us as being weak. We don't want we don't want nobody to look at us as being sensitive or whatever. Now, when you got somebody who don't care what other people think, they don't have a problem with expressing themselves. You feel what I'm saying? But we, especially as black men, we have problems with opening up. So it manifests itself through alcoholism. It manifests itself through debauchery. It manifests itself through a lot of things if we hold it in. Now, this is not set in stone, guys. I'm not saying that's what it is about us. No, what I'm saying is I've I've just gave you different examples of what I've seen over the years and what I've experienced. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a womanizer. And you want to know why? Because I was too fucking shy. I had the same lustful loins as everybody else. No, I'm just joking, guys. But
Yeah, I was
no.
about to say, bro.
No, what I'm saying is this. If people see me as a wise human being, right? I still have the same thoughts, the same concerns, the same anxieties as everybody else. But what I've learned how to do was open up. Now, I'm not a completely open book, right? But what I've learned how to do is to tell you how I feel. Everybody as a whole, to tell them how I feel. Sometimes people think I overshare. I don't give a damn because the one goal for me is to go to sleep at night. And my brothers will tell you, I've never been bashful about how I conduct myself, you know. But I'm not a rude person. But what are your thoughts, guys?
I think, man, I think the first thing that a lot of guys need to get over, man, is their perception of exactly what opening up is. I mean, I'm quite sure. Well, not quite sure, but I mean, when you think about, or say you watch a movie or whatever, right? And it's some kind of like AA meeting or something like that. You got a circle full of guys sitting around, and some of them are crying, some of them are telling deep stories about their experiences in regards to that particular situation. But that level of vulnerability, man, I don't know a lot of guys who are ready to honestly broach that. You know what I mean? The way you react to the things that you hear yourself saying. I mean, if you tear up, then that kind of speaks to the magnitude of what's going through your mind about that situation, and that's something you got to pay attention to. They only, we only worry about what we look like during the process, but the discoveries that are possible for us to find out about ourselves, we don't really regard those. Am I going to look like a simp up here, talking about, how my wife said I look soft because the dude cut me in line and all that, or I don't be up here crying in front of all these dudes and all that. All right, man, okay, then that's just uh, uh, a longer dip in the trauma pool for you there, bro. You know, because
Gotcha.
talking about a situation a couple of times definitely don't make it go away. Trauma needs to be chipped away. You got to chip it away, but you got to start the process. No matter what happens.
Got you. Damon.
For me, man, it all stems from, okay, this is something I've been struggling with, and the people that I reach out to is people that I come to trust. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's all predicated on the choices that I make. But in expressing myself, I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? When it's in their hands, in their assumption of me, or their opinion about me, you know what I'm saying? I made the choice to trust them in sharing things. But if I come to that conclusion, I'm comfortable with the answers that I get. It's just simple as that for me. It might, if it applies, then you know what I'm saying. There's growth, there's wisdom, maturity there. If it don't, then you're making my job easier. Oh, I see what your motivation is. You know what I'm saying? But if I come to choose you as a person that I'm sharing something personal and intimate with, you know what I'm saying? Before you use it as material to hurt me or whatever, you need to understand the reasons why I chose you. Are you meeting up to that standard? That's something that you have to choose. But we all learning from that situation. You know what I'm saying? There are things that I choose not to share, and there are things that I do choose, and I'm very specific about who I talk to about it. You know what I'm saying? And I live with the results.
Got you.
I
I
don't, I
got
don't
you.
know if that makes.
No, no, it makes sense. I think me personally is really a very few people that I will be vulnerable with because being vulnerable is my personal space. You feel what I'm saying? Because see, me personally, I can't articulate that to anyone. As much as I love my brothers, as much as I love my wife, as much as I loved our parents, I can't do that because I can't explain it enough for for it to make sense when it comes out of my mouth. But what I can do, and you guys can attest to this, and people who know me, what I can do is be thorough about how I feel about something. You know what I'm saying? To be thorough, like, yo, I feel this way because of this. You know what I'm saying? Or I see it in this thing, in the way this, you know what I mean? So it that's what gives me the reaction of what I do. You know what I mean? So I think, to be honest with you, it's a tricky thing. If you don't, because as kids, what do? We rely on our father, uncle, grandfather, OG friend. I'm talking about men, OG friend of the family. We rely on them to set a foundation because, be honest, everybody don't know. Everybody don't have the key on how we can move and move in this world. But what we can do is give you what? The foundation of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you give you something to work off of. You know? Any comments about that before we move on?
Well, the foundation is your father and your mother. You know what I'm saying? Being able to express your feelings. You know what I'm saying? How do they know how to help you and support you if they don't know how you truly feel? You follow what I'm saying? You can't be in denial in that situation. You got to talk about it, but it's not for everybody.
But yeah, but that's rare that that's rare that your parents will open up that platform for you. Because what is a parent's job? What is truly what do you think truly is a parent's job? Real quick, to me, I think a parent's job is to plant seeds, number one. Number two, give safety and comfort, right? Number three, help shape the fight in their children. And I'm sure it's more if I think about it, but those three things, man, to me is very important.
I think a parent's job, man, is to teach a child how to interpret the world, and you know, throughout those interpretations, that's how they learn to navigate it. I mean, to provide your child with a cushion and perfect protection, it's not really fair for them. It's not fair to them at all.
I mean, yeah, it's okay. Explain that further, Duquar, because
Yeah,
yeah,
I need to
I
hear.
don't, I don't, I don't want to disagree with you because we might be thinking the same thing. But what do you
Right.
mean by that?
I mean, you do the best you can to impart all the tools, survival tools, socialization tools that you can into your child or whatever. But it doesn't that just because you teach them doesn't make them experts. Life is
That's
like
true.
yeah, life experiences it can only be gained through trial and error.
Okay.
So I mean, are they gonna fall? Yeah, they're gonna fall. But if you catch them every time, and they don't learn to get up on their own, I mean, you don't let them crash and burn.
Yeah.
But
But you let them have a taste of the life, and understanding, because we're not gonna always be there.
right,
So
yeah. And
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
now I'm not saying that children should be free range. I'm not saying that either.
Oh hell
But
no.
shit, I mean,
Not when they're under your roof. No. Once they're out and you've imparted what you need to impart in them, you kind of. I mean, yeah, we become advisors. Can we agree on? No, further. I want to hear what you have to say, Damon. Go ahead. Then I'll elaborate more.
Well, I always led with you understanding who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? That's how you attack the world. You don't fall prey to conformity. You know what I'm saying? Because that just makes you just like everybody else. You've been put on this earth for a reason. So whatever you feel passionate about, it's all there for you to learn from that and gain wisdom. So I never allow them to deviate from themselves. You know what I'm saying? If they feel challenged by something that's important to them, my first question to them is then, how did you come to that conclusion? Is that how you feel? How did you come to that conclusion? What made you, you know, feel that way and willing to fight for it? You know what I'm saying? And once I gain the understanding that, you know what, my son or my daughter might be stubborn and hard headed because they have a conviction about something. You know what I'm saying? Once I understand that, it makes it easy for me to help them navigate, but it never deviates from who they are. You know what I'm saying? It never
Okay.
deviates from who they are. If they're gonna put up a fight, it's gonna be for themselves, but it's gonna be calculated and it's gonna benefit them, and they're gonna
Hmm.
learn from this shit. I don't give a damn about what the world thinks. You know what I'm saying? I want them, by the time I leave this earth, I want them to understand that how they feel about themselves, how they choose to navigate in terms of their wit and their understanding of the world. That's what matters the most to me. I don't give a damn about the world because there's a lot of followers and flunkies out there that misguide people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to fall into that trap. Leave from
Yeah.
where your heart is. You know what I'm saying? And stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody in the background is gonna be paying attention to it. It
Okay.
might come back to your life later and say, you know what? I didn't think about this situation until I saw you in it, and you showed me how to be myself in that regard. And that's how I've always done it.
I got you. I got you. Okay. As a leader of your household, as a father, husband of your household, grandfather of your household, do you have a safe space? Now, to elaborate on that further, what I mean by safe space is not your man cave, unless it is your man cave.
Oh, I say,
No, no, no. Listen to what I'm saying to you, because see, what it is I don't want it. I don't want it to be just going somewhere in a secluded place. A safe place can include also man cave, yes, but when you have this look and your wife sees it, you don't have to say a word. She knows that you need to either process it or you need to be left alone, right? Man cave, left alone, or you had, hey, can't do it. Can't do it right now. Because that can be included as a safe space. In your humble opinions, and it don't have to be too deep, guys. In your humble opinion, do you have a safe space? Me personally, I think I think over the years I developed one because I was a chronic debater and arguer. Not because of anything that happened to me as in my childhood or anything like that, but I thought I was smarter than everybody else. And I thought that I had control over my household in the sense that just because I thought about everything that I said and I did it in earnest and in love, the conclusion was going to always be right. Well, in a lot of people's eyes, including your loved ones, no matter how much you process, how much you this, and how much you do these things, right? They ain't gonna see you as being right if you step on that. If they're used to you being the comforter and you step on their toes. So I just to elaborate. Do I have a safe space? No. What I have to do is a combination of two. I have to be quiet. See, I don't have a man cave because that's been taken over. But I have to be quiet and move to a quiet place on the couch, right? Or the garage or in the front yard with my folding chair with the capacity of 500 pounds, sitting in the front with a damn cup full of steam. You know what I mean? So yes, technically I do have a safe space. Anybody?
Uh, I don't. I don't. And not for any particularly negative reason, but I learned over the years, man, that I just for the way that I am, when I'm around certain stressful situations or whatever, I gotta build myself space, my safe space in my head. So that's why
Okay.
I might uh, I might say something funny during a really really electrified time or whatever. Or I do that a lot, especially at work. I do that a lot to try to diffuse myself with humor. You know, because if I don't, I mean that I'm gonna be I'm gonna out asshole the asshole. So I have to I gotta. There's times where I got to do a lot of self reflection, man. A lot of a lot of counting to 10. You know, that's my self space, my safe space, man. I carry it with me.
Okay. Damon, what you think?
My safe space is my family, man, and all that encompasses it, everything that comes with it. And then when I get into that mode of reflection, my basement and my solitude. How do I choose to approach the situation? And what I mean by my safe place is my family is because as men, we are all, as men, we all choose to have and raise a family, right? If there is a situation in the family where your loved ones, the family that you're raising, come to you with a problem, you know what I'm saying, searching for a solution or an opinion, and they're comfortable in doing that with you, then you can go to your safe place and reflect on it. You know what I'm saying? It's a purpose. My man cave has a purpose. You know what I'm saying? You gave me something heavy, son. You gave me something heavy, wife or daughter. Y'all gave me something heavy I got to think about. And y'all asking me my opinion. So I'm going to go to my safe place and reflect on it. I'm not, my man cave is not an escape. It's all a reflection for me. You know what I'm saying? With the understanding that once I come out of that mode where I choose to mull over and think and try to come up with a viable solution, not telling them what to do, but figuring out how to get them to understand how to figure out their own problems. You know what I'm saying? Being an advocate in that regard. That's what it is. So, the family and my retreat, that's my safe place.
Okay. So it's a combination.
Yeah.
It's a
Because when
combination.
you hit me with that, we ain't talking about man caves. I was like, I had to think about it for a minute.
Oh no!
I was like, oh man, okay, you gonna hit me with that, bro?
Yeah.
I'm required to think about it now. Be specific. But that's me,
Yeah.
man. You know, my daughters come home and they say I need to talk. You know what I'm saying? I don't preach, I don't browbeat, I don't do none of that stuff. That's like I just listen. And then come in my space, reflect on it, and then when next time I see them, I make suggestions. But what do you think about this? Have you tried that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how it goes for me.
I understand that.
If you have a place, if you have a place that you go for safety, man. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm probably hating because I don't particularly have one. But if you go to a place to find safety and solitude, uh, two things, man. It can be invaded. It can be invaded, which could bring stress to you and piss you off. And if the door is locked, is it safe or is it a prison?
So first of all, it could be both because if they don't know how to open up the door, it's a safe haven. But if they know how to open up the door, they the turnkey.
But hey, what if it's your choice to lock the door? Hey, I need solitude. I need to think. I need to
Now
be in
that's
this
hey
place.
Damon, that's what I'm talking about.
You
That's what I'm
lock the
talking
door.
about. You lock the door, but you know the tricks of everybody know the
It
tricks of
don't
the
matter
trade of the
anyway,
house.
cause
They got that little key, be like sticking that little hole.
you can lock the door all day long. All you gonna hear is,
Shit.
how long you gonna be down there?
Yeah.
You know
Hey,
that type of
look,
thing.
I think it was the funniest thing.
Think
You
about
said,
this. What if you lock the door and nobody disturbs you and just leave there down there by your damn self?
I'm drinking it like the best ambrosia alcohol I've ever had. I'm getting
Hey,
drunk off of it.
Yeah.
you
So,
walk
so
out the basement and everybody look at you and say, "Oh, here come this."
no, everybody look at you and be like, I didn't know you was home. I'm like, shit.
Especially if you come upstairs with the bullshit.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. If I'm able to get to my safe haven for 5, 10 minutes, I ain't got no problem with nobody. I ain't got no problem with nobody.
I think it all makes a difference if you come upstairs and say, and another thing, and then you follow up with furthermore. You know what I'm saying?
And anyway,
You on some bullshit when you go downstairs. You ain't thinking about nothing but your feelings and who you are. You know what I'm saying?
you know what's so funny about you want to know what's so funny about it too, man, is and I learned early that I have an asshole tendency sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? Like I can have all the best intentions, but I can be a jerk. I can be an asshole. You know what I mean? This is why I've learned how to apologize, bro, and be sincere about it.
That's why I
You
asked
know what I'm
you. That's why
saying?
I wanted to ask you. Do you recognize it in real time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. And see, what I do is I stop. I'll be in the, you know how you be in the throes of it. Then I was like, oh, wait a minute, man. And I'll sit there and won't say anything. Then I'll go up to her, Bernie Mac in it. You be bullshit. No, you be bullshit. No, you be bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But that I think that's the best thing that ever happened to me in understanding how wrong I can be sometimes, man.
Right.
Even if I think in my mind that I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And the majority of the time I think and I mull things over to the point that my success rate of being right is kind of high. I said kind of high. You know what I'm saying? But it also leave room to being fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
if you walk in the room and everybody got a sour puss because they see you,
hmm.
9 times out of 10 times out of 10, you the problem.
Hey,
Like,
man,
look,
if I
like
walk into
somebody. Go ahead, dog.
if I walk into a room and everybody got a sour puss because they see me, then they deserve that shit. Because at that point, I have done everything that I can to be unfucked with.
Yeah.
But if you just got to have it, here it goes.
All right. Now, look, that was a perfect segue. In your troublesome relationship, are you the problem, or are you almost always right?
Hey man, I'm comfortable in both settings.
I mean, because
Sometimes you got to be the goddamn problem.
you got to be. You know, our Father, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, our Father has always been this way. He said he used to tell us because we the three of us were some rambunctious dudes. Me and Damon definitely, because we was only a year apart. Jaquari Jaquari came about when we wore. You know how the water make a rough stone into a smooth stone. Well, John Armstrong was a smooth stone by the time Jaquari, came up because that was his rolling partner, right?
Vastly different.
And look, I was never jealous about it because
I
I
wouldn't
know
be.
we was a handful. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, he always said this to us, Keith. I don't mind being the bad guy. And I was like, what? When he first started saying it, I was too young and immature to understand what he was talking about. What do you mean you don't have a problem being the bad guy? You know what I mean? And then I had children, and I understood what it meant. And what it meant was, as the man of your house, if you blessed to be there, and you have a partner that's going to work with you and defer with you and making the decisions, you are always going to make the unpopular decisions in a lot of cases. meaning that you're going to say no. You're going to be the person to say no. And it's going to be for good reason when you say no. You know? Um, but with that being said, with this thing on the screen and chat, um, people in the comments, please, if you have something to share with what's on the screen right now, please do. We welcome your comments. But the thing about it is, the reason why I chose that is because some of us, and I alluded to it earlier, some of us is the problem, and we don't realize that we are the fucking problem. Excuse my language. We are the problem, but we're so set in our ways, we don't give ourselves enough room to realize it. Now, I'm not. This is not a kumbaya moment, and understand I'm a traditional man, right? Now, I'm not ultra conservative traditional, but what I'm saying to you is, yes, I believe the man is the leader of the household if he's there with his wife or his girlfriend with children. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand that sometimes we could be overbearing because we want to solve the problems. We want to be problem solvers, and we don't consider the other people are not there with us. Maturity wise, they're not there with us when we make those decisions. So what you think about that, guys?
I mean, the house. I mean, I'm interested in the house being successful, man. You know, and I said it before on this platform, man. It ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows. You know, I don't necessarily believe I want to be in charge all the goddamn time. To tell you the truth, this shit is
Okay.
exhausting. It's exhausting.
Sometimes it just come out naturally, don't it, bro?
And
Well, you deal with it, you
I
know.
mean, yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. And understanding. See, guys, you do understand that we all speak in the same language. Yes, when you have the main responsibility, you need a break. You're going to want a break, but sometimes you can't get one because your family got to keep rolling. Your family got to do all these things. But see, when you respect your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other enough to hear them out and understand that their opinion is very important to the process, it goes down a little easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I'm in a situation where it's troublesome and it's 4 against 1, how to do? I need to rethink some shit, bro. Plain and simple,
Do you
because I
want
don't.
to? Do you have to rethink it because to keep the peace, or you feel as though you might be wrong?
First of all, I understand that I'm not infallible, man. I understand that I could be wrong sometimes, and there's been times I've been wrong, and I had to eat that shit. I had to accept it, and it was a process of working out of that problem. You know what I'm saying? And you can't help but saying, you know what, I made the wrong decision. I should have listened to my counsel, vis-a-vis being my family. I should have listened to it. But sometimes our ego takes over, and we say, you know what, this is how it's going to be. You know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. But you have to be prepared to deal with the fact that when it don't work out, you have to swallow a little pride, bro. You have to swallow a little pride, and that's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stand on something that I was wrong. I'm not gonna stand on it, especially after getting counsel saying, "Hey man, let's just try this." That's not it. That's not a approach that they bring to me that's argumentative or troublesome. It's like, hey man, just try it this way and see what happens. I think it's going to be beneficial for all of us. And I stand on what I stand on. I gotta deal with that. Man, I should have. You know, I have to be. I have to be that person to come back and say, you know what, you were right. I should have listened to you. And that's going to help the situation move forward. And then everybody feels involved. Everybody feels like their opinion mattered at some point.
Was that an easy thing that you came to, or was that what did you get there kicking and screaming?
No, I didn't get there kicking and screaming, because when you're wrong, and you got to accept your responsibility for your actions, your decisions. You just have to. And then you do, and then afterwards you're doing reflection on, man, what happened in that situation. It's something that important. You're gonna have to think about what was said to you that you disregarded. You're gonna have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about gaining wisdom, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but go ahead, Jacor.
I could kind of say that I was dragged there kicking and screaming, man, because my whole notion of marriage when I first got married was totally untrue. It was totally untrue. I mean, and it wasn't necessarily something that I got from people, you know, from talking to them about marriage or whatever. It was just a perception. You know, we're going to all of our transgressions are going to be mended when we get married, and we're going to start afresh. And yeah, that it don't happen like that. Don't happen like that. So as soon as I matured enough to understand that, you know, two human beings in such a venture, man, are going to make mistakes. You know, I think that's when some things started to open up for me.
Okay. Okay. Lawrence says, why does being found wrong in your decision making put you in a state of feeling less than?
Possibly because of the statement I just made, man. My whole concept of marriage was absolutely wrong. It was totally wrong. You know, the things that I fantasized about in the marriage or whatever, when I tried to make those put those things in effect, you know, they were tiresome. It was exhausting
Okay.
because I felt like a warden, you know, and I'm like, no, this is not me. This is it wasn't who I was before I got married. So you know, why should why should it change now? You know, the
I mean,
institutional wedlock, you know, it doesn't only exist at an altar. You know, I've been
but
with my wife.
there's also an expectation though, man, that there is
Says who?
you have listen, like just what you just said, Jaquar, you still had an expectation of certain things to change, right?
Certain
Is
things
it
to
something?
change. Certain things to change to make me more comfortable. Is that fair?
Yes, yes, that's fair. Now, achieving it, that's another thing. But for you to have that expectation, you don't think that's fair? Now, if you're mature enough to know, okay, maybe this is a little extreme. You know what I'm
I think
saying?
yeah. I'll say that it's fair, but I n- n- I had no understanding of the exchange.
Gotcha.
No understanding
Okay.
whatsoever.
Okay. Damon, what do you
Well, you
think?
go this answer Cuz question. You can always come to the conclusion that you felt confident enough to make the decision. Now, if somebody is making you feel less than, You know what I'm saying? You got to understand what's the motivation behind it. What's the reasoning? That's not a union. You know what I'm saying? It's all about supporting each other. When you're right and when you're wrong, it's about supporting each other. I chose my wife because of her wisdom. I chose her because she understood things in certain aspects more than I did. You know what I'm saying? So I came into the situation where I'm gonna always ask her opinion about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, and she would agree with this. The final decision is going to be mine, but the decisions are going to be predicated on all persons being heard. You know what I'm saying? And in listening to everybody, you might gain another side of it and saying, you know what, that makes sense. How does that make you feel less than if you come to that conclusion? You know what my wife said made sense. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a matter of it's a matter of choice. And then when you make that choice, stand on what you say.
And a lot of that has to do with how confident you are in who you are
And
as a
yourself,
person, right?
because she's
Yeah.
going to expect you to stand strong on what the hell you decide. You know what I'm
Again,
saying?
but again, is that confidence or just practicality? If you have an idea, look, if you have an idea, if you bring it to the table and you stand it over with all 10, right? And then she comes up and gives you her idea. What if you like hers better?
Then you go with her idea.
You go
Is
with
that
it.
exactly? So in a sense, you was wrong, right?
No,
Yeah, you
it's
were.
not no, it's not being wrong. It's wrong if you disagreed with her. No, you came with the. I'm assuming you came with the original idea, right?
Any solution. I'm saying. I mean,
And she came. That's what I'm saying. You came with any solution, and then she came with a better solution. So yes, you agree. Like, okay, we'll roll with that. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
wrong. It's wrong if you. It's not wrong if you disagree. It's wrong if you dismiss. So I'm
Good
saying there's a
point.
major difference.
Good point. Good point. Uh, Lawrence says, "What if? Okay, what if I failed? I'm gonna give you that eye, Lawrence. What if I failed at my marriage was seeing my ex as a rib instead of a whole side of me?" That was kind of deep, Lawrence. I mean, elaborate a little more if you can. But I'm trying to. I'm looking at it as instead of being just support when I need it. I'm just assuming. I'm not putting any words in your mouth. But instead of just being supported, being your rib, right? Biblically speaking, right? But your partner, you know what I mean? Being your partner at the time to see, and that's the thing, man. There's different versions of being a partner because there are silent partners, you know what I'm saying? There are collaborative partners. There's partners who actually have an equal say of everything you do, which I think marriage should be an equal say, but some people are raised that always defer to the man. You know what I mean? As the main decision maker, which I agree with that, but it ain't always the case because I've seen women, very strong women, who make better decisions than their husbands, and that would mean that their husband was lesser. It's just her their wife was smarter. You know what I'm saying? And you got to humble yourself. If your wife is smarter than you need to humble yourself and say, "Yo," you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that's my dog right there. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's the case.
I
But
think
what you guys think about Lawrence's statement?
I think after the fact, for you to recognize that is meaningful. It means a whole lot. know what I'm saying? Because you didn't see her as an individual outside of you. You saw her as an extension of you. And recognizing that she's a part of what I'm trying to establish here. And and I'm paraphrasing. I'm not paraphrasing, but I'm speculating on it, trying to understand the point you're making. Did you see her as a equal in terms of intellectually, in terms of raising a family? Because there's certain aspects of family that your wife knows that you need to try to figure out and understand. You know what I'm saying? I raised 2 girls, man. That was a learning experience, bro. You know what I'm saying? There was a learning experience for me. I had to have the ability to listen. You know what I'm saying? To what they were saying. You know, and then it's incumbent upon me as the man, the head of the house, to understand where they're coming from and not dismiss what they're saying or how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Are they an extension of me? Absolutely. Via through me and my wife. Do they have their own minds? You know what I'm saying? Because in my situations, my daughters respected their father. That's the type of man I want to meet in my life. You know what I'm saying? My dad was always strong. My dad was always supportive. My dad always protected. My dad always provided. You know what I'm saying? So I was something that they looked at and said, this is what, I want somebody who's protective and loving as my father is. So that's how I affected their life. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with my wife. That's how I affected her. You know what I'm saying? They expected to be heard. They expected their feelings to be valued and cherished and all that stuff. You know, Keith, you froze, bro.
No, it's me.
You said I froze.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
looking for
still
your
here.
expression. Okay. My point
Yeah.
is, in trying to understand cause a statement, I don't know if
No,
he is it a situation that maybe where you have a regress and you should have been more understanding? I don't know. I'm trying to follow what you're saying.
yeah. We'll wait for him. We'll wait for him if he has a comment about it. We'll wait for him to
Right.
come back. Ja'Cory, what do you think?
Well, see, where I fell in my marriage is seeing my wife as real instead of my whole side. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility, man. That's a lot of that's
I feel that. I feel that.
a lot of responsibility to put into another person. I understand. We're in a partnership here. I understand. I definitely understand that. But I don't. And this is my situation. I really don't have any expectation for my wife to do any more to work than I am. And when you put a person when you put a person on a pedestal like that, not saying that that's what he did, but I mean, and you start to see that their human side is flaws. Then you gotta rethink the whole union. You know what I mean? Not whether or not you should not the fact of whether or not you should have married this person, but your expectations of the union. At no point in
Good
time,
point. Good point.
at no point in time, uh, throughout our marriage, have I ever had an expectation for my wife to be anything other than what she is. I like to think that I understand her flaws, and she's got the room to express those flaws. I hope she understands mine. Uh, but that shit is not magic. It's not magic.
No.
It's just not going to materialize into the thing that you want. You
You,
know.
you know what's crazy, man? Not to cut you off, spoke. You know what's crazy is that I overthought it, man. I overthought that the statement that he made. It was a learning lesson, man. You learned something from that. You know what I'm saying? However it affected you, cuz it's something that you learned from, man. You know what I'm saying? You gain wisdom from it. Now, if you're still the same way, if you go into another relationship feeling the same way, did you learn anything? Did you gain any wisdom? It seems to me that you're reflecting back and you're thinking, wait, did I make this mistake?
Regrets. And
what do you think? Did you gain any wisdom from it? That's your maturation process, man.
It's so many different components to that, because if you're not with her anymore, do you still have a sense of yourself? Because if you do, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have regrets, of course, because you're human. You know what I'm saying? And you loved her, or still loved her, or loved her at one time. But you're human. You know what I mean? And here we go. Lauren says, I looked at the situations from a stand point that, I got excuse me, I ain't got my glasses, that it was biblical.
All right.
Understanding, go ahead.
I looked at the situation from the standpoint that was biblical, understanding what Yahweh meant for me being the head. I can't read it that far. Go
In
ahead.
the head was never to look at her as less than. So basically what he's saying is he looked at it in the biblical way, that he's supposed to lead. That's his main job, and that's what he's stuck with. See, and I get that. I understand that. Because it's what you're being taught, is what you understand you should be. I get that. But Damon said something, and I think Jaquari alluded to it too, or it might have been the other way around. Taking on too much responsibility for something that's a two-way street. Unless you were a complete disaster, and knowing you, I know that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Because really and truly, it's cool to reflect back on things, the wins and the losses. As long as you don't dwell on them for long.
I think that we look at the scripture and we think, this is what a man's supposed to do, and so forth. But I always come to that. The thing I always come to is that God's biggest miracle is that it's 8 billion of us, but none of us, we have same experiences, but we are unique in our own self. You see what I'm saying? And there are situations that come to you in terms of relationships or whatever, and you, and I'm speculating that I don't mean to overreach, but a woman chooses you for a reason, because you can provide and you can protect. You know what I'm saying? And you provide that safety, that space for them to thrive. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really is. That's manhood. That's being that person. Because if something happened to your wife on the street, who the first person she come to get to protect herself or defend her honor? You.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? It's going to be you. And that's what you have to stand on. You have to be strong with. You know what I'm saying? If you sitting around and you tell your wife, you say, you know what? I'm going to give my life to Christ, and I'm going to go in this path. You be the example of that. You know what I'm saying? You're not convincing her of anything. You showing her because you took that path, and things are, you living in that aspect, and you living that life, and things are working for you and her, and you are getting the benefits and all that stuff from God, then that's an example that you lead. That's being a man in your home. That's biblical. You know what I'm saying? If the man give his life to Christ, and he's going that road, and then his children, grown children, calling him, asking the father for scriptures or advice in terms of the book and all that stuff, you being that man that you're supposed to be. You feel what I'm saying? Because they're following that lead. Hey, my dad is living in Christ. He is that guy. He is something to look up to. He's somebody to pay attention to. And then they get that Holy Spirit is leading them. Then you're doing what you supposed to do as a man.
So if you have to repeat to somebody, I'm just bringing it home in my understanding what you're saying, David. If you have to repeat to somebody what you're doing, right? You're not doing it right, or they don't want to see what you're doing. Because leading by example is actually just doing and not waiting for a reaction. Right. Is that kind of what you're saying, or am I off?
Lead by example, man, is just staying true to your word, staying true to the word, being who you put on this earth to be. And if you lead in that example, they're either going to accept it or not. Hopefully they do. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's biblical. They're following you. You know what? I've been going to church lately, Dad. You know what I'm saying? Man, last conversation me and you had, this is what I thought about, and I wanted to seek this out. I'm doing what I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm being who I'm supposed to be. I'm not trying to convince them. I'm not trying to preach to them about anything. They're just seeing what I'm doing and saying, you know what? This works for me too. And that automatically puts me in that position. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got a lord over them or strong arm in anything. I'm just following the path. And they see it and they get it. And that's a blessing within itself right there, bro.
I think it's a mixture. To lead is a mixture of everything. And let me just say this before I finish this point. People who are looking at us now, people who are going to be looking at the clips on this and the full episode of what's going on, this is not old school logic. This is every logic. This is dealing with human beings in your life. Because what we're doing is we're not giving you the blueprint. What we're doing is we're giving you our perception of what got us through things. The wins and the losses. The wins and the losses, man. You know what I'm saying? Because let me ask you two this, and people in the comments also. As a human being, do you think you're right all the time? No, I take that back. That's the wrong way of putting it. Is there pressure for you in your decision making to be right all the time?
No.
Why?
Because I mean, for a very high percentage of the decisions I make are wrong. I mean, it for me, it doesn't really make a difference, whether or not the first decision is right or wrong. If it's right, everything is flowers and roses and shit. But if it's wrong, what do I do then? Do I stop? No. That's what the lesson is. You don't stop. You make another decision and try to work that decision until you become successful. You don't stop. Okay. It's cliche, but there ain't no blueprint to it. There's no automatic formula. trial and error, man. You got to do shit until you figure out how to be successful at it.
You gotta be respectful while you're doing it too. I agree. Damon, what you think?
It's, you know what? It all depends on what you're willing to share, man, in making those decisions. If you want to be inclusive, then you got all different ideas to work with. If you choose this is what I'm going to do, okay. You got to ask yourself, are you being selfish in that regard? This is how I visualize it. This is how I think it should be, and I don't care about nobody else's counsel. I'm going to go this route. You have to think about it's not just you. Now that works if you're single. You know what I'm saying? But if you got, say for example, hey man, I went to this school. I was raised in this school system. I graduated from this and all that stuff. And I want my kids to be there too, to have the same experience I did. You totally negating their personal experience, especially if it's a failing school system. I can't stand strong on that and decide, you know what, this is what's going to be. I have to think about what's affordable. And I got to think about, okay, who can I contact to help me in this situation? You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to raising kids, it's all about having people in your life that's going to help your kids. Who's in the position to say, you know what, we can't neglect her or him because she comes from a strong family and I can guide her. It's a village. Everybody taking care of each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's a collective decision for everybody. You feel what I'm saying? And then you deal with the failures along the way. You know what I'm saying? But the key is to be stronger than you was when you first began the process. You know? And I think it's a collective thing, man. It's not just an individual thing.
Okay. All right. Just to bring this, we're closing in. Eric says I came in at the tail end of this conversation, but you are a leader in spirit, and you're supposed to be the leader of the Holy Spirit. That you're not make up their mind, but it's your responsibility to give them the opportunity to make up their own responsibility, because we are not all the times right, and we all make mistakes. But damn, boy, you make me, yeah, bro, you make me look like I can't read, bro. But many think, because I guess he's trying to get it in there. But I see your point, though, Eric. I do. I see your point, because it does make sense, because you pretty much saying what we've been saying. The simple fact that you especially Damon, you have to give your children the latitude to take in what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? To take in what you're saying and then process it on their own, instead of like, oh, I just told you this is what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? What you guys think?
He invoked the Holy Spirit. Now, if you're a man of God, you're a Christian, you're in Christ, and you're a man of God, you know what I'm saying? You look for the Holy Spirit to guide you. So he's absolutely right in that regard. You know what I'm saying? And you use that wisdom. So when you're praying for guidance and all that stuff, you're praying for everybody. But you're in a position where you lead and people follow your example in the Holy Spirit. I think that's what he's saying, and I totally agree with him. What is that?
I had to put my glasses on, bro. because I want to make sure, because I don't want to disparage this man's typing. Keith Barnes says, when you write and get strong pushback and don't want to deal with the consequences, how do you navigate it?
You
Well,
know, because you,
It's like I said,
go ahead, Jaquar.
like I said
but
earlier, sometimes you got to be the bad guy. I mean, you know, okay, yeah, I'm all about cooperation, but you know, you can't push a line. I'm not gonna let you push a line. I don't care who
no,
you are. You
but
know, I
but
mean,
go ahead, Smoke.
no, that was it.
But if you choose to be stalwart in that attitude, man, aren't you engaging the ego, man?
No, I can't
Hey,
agree
I
with that,
told you
Damon.
I was right.
I slightly disagree with you, Damon, but go ahead and finish your point.
I'm just saying. I mean, just initial thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I could be right, but in being right, if I'm a leader of a situation of my household, and I'm right and everybody's against it, right? And then it turns out to fall in my favor. Do I sit back and be like, see, y'all need to start listening to me, and this is how it is, and so on and so forth. Y'all need to just listen to me and not say anything. Just follow my lead. Then ego seeps into the situation.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
if you're right, Damon, how is it ego if you're right?
Because you grandstanding.
The only thing worse than a sore loser is a sore winner.
Right.
Okay,
You
and I
When
agree.
grandstanding.
when you look at it in those terms, I refuse to look at my marriage in terms of win lose. I can't do it. I
I
won't do
can't
it.
do it either. I can't do it.
Right.
See, now, listen. I'm not disagreeing with you both. I get what you're saying, so it's not that I'm. It's not lost on me. But my point is, being right, and if your family is not listening to you, and they go through changes because they're not listening to you, is that ego?
It all depends on how you respond to it. You know what I'm saying? You can sit around with your chest stuck out, you know what I'm saying, with a smirk on your face and say, next time y'all gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me all this feedback. Next time you're gonna listen. You're disavowing their opinion.
So hold
Because
on.
this because
So
this
so
affects their lives too.
so but hold on. So are you talking about? I'm sorry, Jaquan. Are you talking about the energy you giving off or the words? Because the words need to be said.
Well, the words are you came off as right. You came off as right.
You
So
know,
the words are solidified.
So Keith, I take it you're an advocate of rubbing it in.
Right. Come on,
no,
bro.
no, no.
That's not
See,
rubbing
that's
it
what I'm.
in.
No,
That
hold
ain't
on, hold on, hold on. So you telling me I'm rubbing it in? If something happens, now, and it's the minimum thing, like medium. Where you telling them, you telling your children or your wife, look, do not do this because this is going to happen
Right.
and this is going to affect us, right? And they do it anyway. Is it rubbing it in when I say, yo, didn't I just tell you not to do this shit?
But you're switching up the question now, man. That's
No,
not
I
that's
didn't
not
switch
what
it
we're
up.
talking about.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing to what y'all just said.
No, what we said was if you uh, uh, if you took on the space of saying, you know, we're gonna do it this way, and it turned out to be right. It turns out to be right.
Mhm.
Are you gonna look at your family and say, with confidence and your chest out, next time
Okay,
y'all
so
gonna listen, you ain't gonna give me
so
no pushback, and y'all gonna do what I say.
I understand you now. So there were no uh, detrimental consequences. You was just being right. Is that what you guys are saying? You were just being right. You told them, look, we're gonna do it this way, and
Yeah.
you did it this way, and you was right. And then you say, now you're gonna listen to me. You know what I
and
mean?
it,
See, I was
I'm
looking
saying
forward with.
I'm saying in any regard, man. I mean, you know,
Ah,
if it's a stressful situation, then I'm trying to move on from it.
no, I get that, but my point is, I was looking at it from the other end of it, guy.
I get it. I
Where
understand where you're coming from.
you know what I'm saying? Like it
I
was
get where you.
you said you gave the advice like, look, don't do this, and they did it anyway, and then y'all had to recover from it.
Well, you know what though?
Yeah,
And
I think you still need, but this is my point though. You still need to say, oh, you need to listen to me next time. That's not
no,
to
no,
me.
no.
That's
What you
not rubbing it in.
no, what you need to do in follow up, what you need to do is go to that person. If they start with on what their opinion, and they made the mistake, you don't go back and say, "See, if you'd have listened to me, you wouldn't be going through it." You don't do that.
No,
What you do is say,
and
"What you
that's not
do."
what I'm saying though.
Well, then I misinterpreted the point you were making. Then, and
No, no,
I don't
no.
listen.
But look. In all fairness, can we be fair? If you telling your family not to do something, and they do it anyway, you telling me you don't have no latitude? Like, yo, didn't I tell you not to do this shit?
That's fair.
It's
That's fair.
fair to do
But
that.
do you consider what you're conveying at that time?
No, I get it. I get it.
Especially to your children.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
I mean,
I mean, because just like you said, you might mess with their confidence level. And, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I get that.
Right.
or you might give them another weapon to use against you when the
And
shoe
hold
is on
on to it,
the
bro.
other foot.
When
And that
when it's time, when it's time to go to the old folks home.
I mean, you know, well,
And then you got a third
if
party. Go
if
ahead,
you
folks.
could do if you could do it if you could do it without being petty, then you know more power to you. I couldn't. I couldn't do
I mean, no, I'm not. Look, I try not to be a petty person, but don't always succeed though. You know what I'm saying?
But if they do something that was wrong and you gave them advice not to do it, and it turned out bad for them, you know what I'm saying? You can't see it as a learning experience for them, especially if they're your kids.
No, I agree.
You know what
I
I'm
agree
saying?
with you.
You say, okay, son or daughter, what did you learn from it? We're not even finna
That's
talk about me being right.
no, but
We're
I'm
not even
saying
finna talk about that.
in that rubbing it in, depending on how they see it too. Would
Well,
you say
well,
what you
well,
learned from it?
it all is all determined on how upset they are and how they choose to take it. But in essence, there's a learning lesson in it, and it's your approach. Okay, son and daughter, where did things go? When did things go south? Was it because you were
I
being
got
stubborn and not willing
I
to
got
listen? You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you, so you make your own choices because you're grown. But
hmm
sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I'm here for a reason. I'm here for counsel.
no doubt.
I'm here for counsel. I'm not pointing the finger at you and making you feel bad. I'm saying, look, you my child, I love you. I don't want to see you struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if there's a situation where we're having a conversation about you doing something and you make a choice, how are you going to listen to me now? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to totally dismiss me? It is all about my approach then. I
Yeah.
don't care if I was wrong or not. I'm not listening to him because he's an arrogant so-and-so and such and such. And he just want
But
to throw stuff in my face. There are certain things you
that's
have to avoid, bro.
yeah, but that's a personal problem too now. You know what I'm saying?
Of course it's
If
a
they feel
personal problem.
if no, I'm saying if they feel that way and you don't mean it that way, you have no power over that.
What you do have a power over is because you love this person and this person is your child, is to be
So
convincing.
don't say anything because
No,
that's the only way you can avoid it.
to be convincing in the regard of what put them in the position to be successful after the
Okay.
fail. That's
Gotcha.
what you do.
Okay. All right. Well, look, let me grab these comments real because they're interesting. Keith Barnes says, if you're right and they ignore you and then go another way, you have to repair the consequences is a bitter pill, and to for me to swallow. I be wanting to just let them feel it, but I can't. Which I respect that. You know what I mean? Where you wanna be semi petty with it, but the thing about it is, Keith said he can't be petty. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to move on. You know what I mean?
My
Move
approach,
on in what regard, though?
No, for
pass,
peace.
pass the
It sounds
situation.
like, yeah, yeah. Did you get past the situation?
You weather the storm. I mean,
Yeah.
it, it's just for me, man. This is for the way I would probably be, and the reason I would avoid that scenario is you when you're gonna pigeonhole, especially a young child, they're not gonna come to you about nothing. Because they're gonna see that, they're oh, he gonna preach now and all this and all that, and I will. I mean,
You want them to come to Quarry, but how do you correct that though? If they see you that way, how do you correct that? Because I have no idea. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because I would want my children, when they have time and need and they need counsel, I would want my children, whether they whether they believe in or no, they feel like I'm going to browbeat with all this. If they are backed up against the wall, I would want them to risk their ego being bruised.
but honestly though, Keith, how many times did you find out about shit that went on with your boys weeks after the shit happened?
A lot, a lot.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, and I'm not saying that like my feelings was hurt. You know what I do? I was like, especially if it's something that just the conversation with me could have been would have went down a little easier for them, or could have solved their problem. I would have said to myself, "Damn, he missed that opportunity." You understand what I'm saying? And if they want to talk about it, we'll chop it up. But it ain't gonna be no judgment like, "Yo, man, you should have." You know what I'm saying? No,
If
it's just go ahead, Damon.
it's as simple as this, man. You just happen to walk past your child's room, and you see some trees on the desk. You know what I'm saying? With the papers next to it, or however the hell they do it. You know what I'm saying? And they grown. Then you ask them, "You smoking weed now?" "Yeah, man, it's legal," and all that stuff. I said, "Well, man, don't you got class Monday?" "Yeah, but I'm going to chill this weekend." You know what I'm saying? You don't say, "Man, how you going to get through school, man, smoking weed and all that?" You don't do that. What you do is like, "Man,"
What? Not. See, that's you, Damon.
what you
But
say
my
is,
point is,
I'm saying me, personally. I
yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Man, I smoked weed all through high school. When I got to college, I had to put it down because I couldn't focus." But that's just my experience.
I
You know
get
what
it.
I'm saying? You choose to do what you choose to do. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But,
Well, let me.
understand, understand for me, it affected me in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? You be
And
truthful
look,
about it. You don't come up to the
see,
kid and say, "Man, you smoking weed." You don't do that. Who
first
did
of
that for
all,
you?
now let me
Who did
let
that for
me say
you?
this. Let me tell you this. Let me just say this to you. I agree with what you're saying, but certain things need to transpire before we have that conversation. First of all, you need to come to me in my house and say to me, "Yo, this is what I'm doing. Is it all right with you that is in here?"
All right.
Now, look, you think the way you want to think. There ain't no right or wrong to this because we grew up off the weed culture. So this is no conservative thinking. No, what this is the simple fact that I respected my son. Excuse me, I respected my sons throughout their whole life, and you owe me this conversation. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of conversation you guys might have had with your children, but I'm owed this conversation. You know what I'm
Shit.
saying? Because this is my house. Now, am I on this extreme? Like, man, how dare? No, no. I teach you respect. Respect me. Talk to me about it.
You absolutely do that, bro.
That's all.
You absolutely
That's
do
all.
that. Respect the house.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. And look, I wasn't disagreeing with you, Damon. What I was saying to you is I had to add that caveat to
Right.
that.
But
Look, we,
sometimes,
we need to have that conversation.
sometimes you find yourself in situations, man, that's beyond your control. You know what I'm saying? It's all about
I
navigating
get it.
with the understanding of gaining wisdom from it, bro.
I get it.
You know what
I
I'm
get it.
saying? And in doing that, you have to trust him to make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? You lay it out in terms of respect. And man, how are you gonna get through this, man, if you're doing that?
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
get it.
saying? What's your you know what I'm saying? You don't think at some point in time you're gonna have to make a choice? It's all predicated on you and the decisions that you make. But I'm saying to you, you're gonna have to make a choice
Yeah.
if you want to put your best
Jaquar,
foot forward.
yeah, Jaquar. So what do you think about this? Do you have a comment?
yeah. I mean, there was look the way I grew up, man. I was uh, I was raised by my family, and I raised myself. So for me to go and happen to cross some reefer in my child's room, you know, I couldn't blow up. I couldn't blow up, because yeah, I used to get down myself. I wouldn't encourage it, but I would have a conversation about moderation. There's absolutely nothing I could have done to stop it. You know.
I get that, and I don't think it's about whether or not they do it because, in my opinion, marijuana is not. They always say it's a gateway drug. No, what's in the gateway is in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you can handle that. You know, I look at it as if my son is smoking cigarettes. I look at it in the same way, unless it starts to be affect his behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Do you show disappointment? Do you express disappointment?
If it's done in a disrespectful way, no. I mean, like, okay, say, all right, perfect example. Here's an example for you. If I get in this car and it smells like weed, my question to him is, damn, dog, what? Why this? You know what I'm saying? Because if you get pulled over, they have every reason to search your car because it's reasonable suspicion that you might have this in here. Even if you don't, your car smell like weed. See, that's the conversation I had. You know what I'm saying? Because my son is a grown man. Do I agree with it? Ah, nah, maybe. Yeah, no. I've never been a weed smoker. You know what I'm saying? But I drink, so I don't get caught up in this stuff. You know what I mean?
And it's ridiculous nowadays, man. Should I be at the doggone Walmart, man? And I'm like, man, that's why that's some good weed. God damn. I mean, everybody be getting high nowadays, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It is what
You
it
know
is.
what it is? You know what it is, Jaquari? It's the same. It's just the simple fact is more out in the open now. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these states is legalizing it. Our home state, hell, you can grow it in your yard if it's a certain amount. You know what I mean?
My
It's
bad,
crazy.
gentlemen. My
No,
bad.
no, you're good.
I heard all that thunder and lightning. I had to turn on my generator, man.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know what I'm
All
saying? I
right,
ain't
look,
anything without power.
look. I want you guys. I put this up here. I had it up here for a minute, but we can get back to what we're talking about. But Davion, he said this might be off topic, but how do you get over the fear of thinking of failed marriages?
Hmm. Did he ever?
That's kind of what I was thinking, Jaquari. I mean, if you starts
Anything
with
that,
yourself,
yeah,
go ahead.
any venture that you go into wholeheartedly with certain expectations, you always have a fear of failing. If you didn't care about failing, then you probably wouldn't be doing it in the first place. So of course there's always apprehension or whatever, but I don't think it lasts long. Uh, you certainly don't want to take your partner for granted because
Yeah,
at any point in time that could be a catalyst to failure right there. So have those conversations. Have those conversations, whatever difficult conversations or you may think you need to have. Once you start having them, you might figure out that they're not difficult at all.
Damon,
Well,
what you think?
I might not be the right person to ask this question because I've been with mine a lifetime. But I would say this: I think it all depends on how much baggage you bring into the next relationship. You know what I'm saying? Are you holding the person that you're trying to have a relationship with to the person, the past relationship? I mean, how much baggage are you bringing into it? You know what I'm saying? And is it fair? You know what I'm saying? I think that's where the fear lies, man. I don't want to be made to feel like I was in the last relationship, the last marriage. So you're bringing baggage and you're protecting and you're cutting yourself off from new relationships, new situations. I mean, that's the best answer I can give.
You know what? That's a good answer. Both of y'all have good answers, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me just simplify this because this is how I look at marriage and this. I've always looked at the relationship the same way. Yes, I'm human, so I got the petty jealousies, I have the insecurities or whatever, whatever, right? But they don't last long because what I've always understood about something, man, is the better I feel about who I am, the more I'm able to deal with whatever relationship that I'm in. And what I mean by that is being say you're a basketball player. You're a good basketball player, right? You got all your shit down. You got it all down pat, right? And you balling your butt off. But then you got somebody who, quote unquote, jealous of you, being a hater. It might be right in pointing out your flaws, but not even talk about how great you're being. How you feel about yourself is how that person's statements impact you.
So when you talk about hater, bro, who are you talking about? The relationship, the person you're in a relationship with?
That's why I use the basketball analogy. The
Right.
person looking at you saying you are a bum. You understand what I'm saying? And you're far from a bum. And you see that you're far from a bum, right? It is not going to impact you if you don't have any confidence in who you are as a basketball player. I think it's the same thing with relationships. Because the better you think about who you are as a person, the less BS you got to deal with in a relationship, and the more secure you feel about the relationship. You see what I'm
But
saying?
isn't it? But then you ask the simple question to that person. Didn't you choose me? You know what I'm saying? I still think I'm the same person. Didn't you choose me? You know what I'm saying? You chose me for who I am, or you chose me for expectation. You know what I'm saying? If you chose me for who I am, then we can work through anything. But if you chose me for expectation in order to enhance your life or whatever, and then you, at the end of the day, come to see me as a bum, where the hell did that shit happen at, man? You know what I'm saying? You came into the whole situation with false pretenses. And it's easy to separate after that. Once you come to that conclusion, it's easy to separate, bro. And not carry baggage with it. We just didn't work out with each other.
That's kind of why that's why I put the basketball analogy there. You know, if I feel good about, I don't care if motherfucker call me a bum, and then let's switch it to the relationship. If a woman, you know, women when they mad at you, they hit you with emotional shit. They try to hurt you. Even if they regret it later, they try to hurt you with their words. That's what they do, right? Not all women. I'm saying if you're in that
I was
kind of
about to say that
relationship,
ain't all women,
of course you
that
need
ain't
to
all
say
women.
that. You need to say that. I get that.
I
This
say
is why
that, man,
women,
because I said that, man, because
bro. Let me finish
it
first.
ain't all
Let me
men
finish.
either.
No, let me finish. Let me finish. I understand that. That's why I backtracked a little bit and say it's not all women. What I'm saying too is if the woman is trying to hurt you and you're in a long-term relationship and she knows you, she gonna hit you with some personal shit. All right. But if you're not feeling confident who you are as a person, it's gonna hit you like some bricks. But if you still maintain who you are when you met her, you're gonna look at her and laugh like, oh shit, that was a good one. You know what I'm saying? But it's not gonna tear you down. That's just my opinion.
I get that.
Okay, we're gonna wait for Jaquari to come back. And guys, in wait a minute. All right, we're gonna go to the next topic, but I'm gonna let Lawrence. I'm gonna put Lawrence up on the screen and want your guys' opinion about it. He said, "Truth is, we are not the same people we were when we met. You learned and you and grown, hopefully to for the better, but sometimes that's not the case, right? So, what do you think about that, guy?"
I think it's absolutely true. I mean, you know, I want the same. I ain't the same jitterbug I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the
Okay.
changes, the changes I've gone through, and the changes that I've made were not so much to facilitate my marriage. It was I've I've done what I've done to cultivate myself, to curate myself, to the changes I made. I feel like made me a better person in some regard, and
No doubt.
that's beneficial for for both of us.
Damon, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
All right, read that for me, man, because it's really
We've been
directed
together
towards
going
you.
on 5 years, cousin Damon, and she wanted to be married before 30. Like I'm 100% ready. It's just the fear of trying to get over. What is it that you're trying to get over? I mean, if she put that pressure on you and you wasn't ready, you have to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you wasn't ready and she was, you was just going through the motions and you wasn't being true to her. You know what I'm saying? And all you had to simply say was, I'm not ready, and let the cause fall what it may.
And elaborate. Can you elaborate a little bit more for us too? Because is it the fact that you're not ready to be married before 30, or what's going on? Are you in? You
Hey,
know what I mean?
I've been married to my wife 31 years. I've been with her 41 years. You know what I'm saying? My dad called me one day and said, after 2 years of being with this woman, man, are you going to make her an honest woman? If you're not, stop wasting her time, right? And because I wanted to be with her, I started proposing marriage. And you know what she said to me? Hey, man, chill out. I came to college for a reason. You know, just hang with me. Everything going to be all right. And not putting our business out there or putting her on Front Street. She denied me twice. You know what I'm saying? And what I had to understand is respect the fact that she worked hard to get where she was at. You know what I'm saying? And I was there supporting her. But I wanted to be serious about it. I wanted to take it to a next level. And she wasn't with it. She was like, no, man, I'm going to be your wife in the future, but let me take care of my business. And that's going to benefit both of us. It's going to benefit both of us. So can you understand that? So I had to understand it. I had to come to that the realization that, you know what? She had things lined up. I just happened to come in the picture. You know what I'm saying? And then I thought about the reasons why I chose this woman. So I had to respect where she was coming from. You know what I'm saying? And I had to be patient. You know, I can't speak on cuz in his situation. I've never experienced it. I'm just talking about my situation. And I was like, damn, you know what? I respect her game plan. I respect that. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped pressing.
Quiet. So what you think?
I wonder if Davion is able to specifically articulate what his fears are. Because you can be afraid of the state of being married, because you think you lose it. But if there's specific things, you know, once you start to address those specific things, and you see that they're not really that big. I mean, because you know you've been practicing for 5 years. You know,
Yeah.
you've been practicing for 5 years. How much do you really expect the institution to change once you make it official?
Now, it's also required, not to cut you off, if it's honest practice, you know. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we do change a little bit once we get married. If it's under a decade being together. Because I think 10 years is the threshold to understand who you gonna get once you get married.
But this is my thing, though, Keith. I just said myself. You know, I've changed. I gotten older, but I didn't do it in the name of marriage. How much
That's a good point.
does it? How much does he expect to have to change himself to fit to fit the mold of marriage?
Uh-huh.
You know, and you come to realize that, you know, I mean, it's not a lot. You know, you move in together probably, or you know, you know,
Shacking up.
yeah, you change. You know, she changed your last name, or add your last name. You'll probably, you know, y'all gonna continue getting mail at the same place. You
But
know, it, you just gonna have a license.
I think, man, what people get caught up in is the institution of marriage. I think that's what people getting caught up in. This is how it's supposed to be, based on Bible and all this stuff. This is how it's supposed to be. That's not what it is. What it is that you bring your best self. You know what I'm saying? You bring your best self into the situation in terms of what you are willing to commit to. And then the institution comes into place. And you remember that you made a promise before God.
But see, this is my thing, though, man. You know, and I don't know much about the Bible, But who in the Bible had a successful marriage, man?
I mean,
I'm quite sure there
okay,
was,
the more popular Bibles, there were struggles in marriages, but there was a lot of good marriages throughout the Bible, bro.
but
So,
the biblical construct of marriage, the biblical construct of marriage, who had it in the Bible?
Who had it in
I
the
don't
Bible?
understand. What,
Man?
no, what do you mean?
Well,
Explain that.
you require me to think now.
The like the example that Lawrence used earlier about like the description of the way a man should the way a man should conduct himself in a marriage.
Abraham and Sarah.
Abraham and Sarah. Okay.
And look. Oh, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
When you first presented the question, the first person that popped in my mind was David.
David had many. He had more than one wife, though, didn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
And his son had how many concubines or whatever?
Yeah.
So the way we conceptualize marriage today, who had that?
I mean, it had to be streamlined, man. I get
the way we
saying,
conceptualize marriage today. Who had it? Our parents.
No, in the Bible.
In the Bible, he's talking about. I mean, but you gotta think about it. It had always been a work in progress, though. The concept, just like believing and faith in the God, it was from the Bible, from book one, is always a work in progress. Every story pushes closer to modern time.
So, hey, brother, you basically saying that the Bible is progressive.
It had to progress.
Think about that for a minute.
Because listen, it's the framework on us standing on our own. Now, some people take it too literally, right? But then some people lean on it. It's teaching. They lean on it for strength. So I think it's somewhere in between. Not to get too caught up on it, but I think it's somewhere in between.
But as it pertains to Cousin, the question he asked, I think he should seek counsel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think this is the place to discuss that because it's something.
But no, he just asked a question, bro. That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything. Yeah, but here's the thing.
Specifically.
Yeah, and you're right. You're absolutely right. But I think he needed to say it out, figuratively say it out loud. Ask you that question out loud.
I think
because it's mulling in his head.
But me personally, I think it's something that he needs to address in a clinical setting. You know what I'm saying? And come to an understanding it's all about, to me, it's all about him accepting failures. He sees it as a failure. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the case. I think that it just didn't work out. And you taking it wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying?
So hold on. So this is past tense he's talking about. Or is it just currently that he's talking about, like he's just he's trying to figure out, you know what I mean?
I think I took it as it was something that happened and how, you know what I'm saying? You had to put the question back up there, man, so I can have clarity.
He said they've been together for 5 years, so I'm assuming they're still together.
Yeah, I was assuming so. Yeah, but I'll tell him. I'll tell him like, look, if you don't have an expectation to fail in your marriage, I mean, that's something to really rethink right there. I mean, because
what constitutes failure?
Well, I don't think they're married yet. I think he's the holdout.
Oh, it is current. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but this is my opinion, Damon. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. But do you stop? Do you stop?
Is it, hey, Jaquari, I'm sorry. Is it failure or stumble? Because failure means that you quit.
That is
I think.
that is
No,
a
it doesn't.
legitimate question.
I don't think failure means you quit. I think failure means what you were doing at the time wasn't working.
There's
Divorce,
finality
divorce is
in the
quitting.
word failure.
The word failure, just like Damon just said, it seems to me, this is my opinion and it's Damon's opinion too, is finality. Failure. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
no hope. There's
Now,
no hope.
look, Damon, this is you on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So now we know.
Okay, now I got
Now we
my
have
man.
a clearer picture
My
of
man.
what's going
All
on. Yeah.
I get.
Keith Barnes, he says the marriages in the Bible have the same problems as couples have today as far as the struggle. And it also tells us how to navigate it. It starts by saying, prove your wife and husband and make sure they're the person for you. I think that's a good point.
That's real. Do you have apprehensions, man? Have you discussed
Yeah.
that, man, with your woman? You know what I'm saying? That's the next question I would ask. Have you discussed that? What's your apprehension? Be honest about it. Y'all might come to a clarification with each other and live happily ever after. But holding it within yourself and not talking about it,
I mean,
Yeah, you should.
if
Yeah.
if
Go
you
ahead,
look at it,
Jaquan.
if you look at it in terms of bench pressing, you bench press the failure, don't you?
that's deep.
Some people do, but I get your point. Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
from the
Keep
jump
going.
start.
but with it,
Keep keep
with,
keep
with
going.
it,
Keep going.
with it, you bench press it to failure. But within the process, through the failure, you get stronger because you don't stop. You go and you bench press the failure again, don't you? It's a part of the process. Failures are part of the
Yeah, but
process.
you have to have something.
Yeah.
You have to have something that motivates you to keep it going, bro.
I'm
The
there.
motive,
I'm there
But
with you,
but,
Jaquan,
but,
but
but
the
that
motive,
but
requires dialogue.
I'm just I'm just
the,
stuck on the word. That's all. But I understand what you're saying, though.
it's just a word. I mean, you bring the concept to it. It's just a word.
What about challenging
Yeah.
yourself,
Fa-
man?
fa-
If you feel, I'm sorry, Spoke. Go ahead.
Yeah, failure doesn't mean end.
I mean, to you, Jaquan, that's what I'm saying. Like if somebody said, "Hey, man, you failed to do this for me," right? What's in my mind, and it may not be in yours, but what's in my mind is, damn, I did everything I could, and I could not help this person. You know what I mean?
You you know, for me, man, failure is a comfortable place because it shows that I'm trying.
Because you a bad motherfucker. That's why.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
yeah. I mean, because I've failed a million fucking times, man. But
Gotcha.
But
when I
this,
was on when I was on, couldn't nobody
Yeah,
touch me.
gotcha.
but here's the thing, man, that I think we all have to think about. It's nuances to this shit.
That's true.
It's nuances. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's situation is not the same. You know what I'm saying? That first voice you hear saying, man, this don't feel right. Most times, if you look at the averages of it, most times you're right.
I gotta push back, Dan. I gotta put man. The inner voice is a liar, bro. The inner voice is a liar.
And the
The inner
voice
voice,
always looking for a comfort zone.
the inner voice is always looking to protect you. Some
Right, but
things,
Yep.
you're putting
some things you got to walk into and experience your way through.
okay, based on what?
Based on failing, figuring out where you failed, and not making that mistake again.
But I'm not going to fail if I didn't put my all into it. That's not a failure for me. That was just a thing. Oh man, I'm glad I dodged that.
I think we understand with each other.
Failure is you committing to it and being in a relationship, a long-term relationship, and not coming to a realization that, you know what, maybe we don't belong together.
It's the interpretation. But see, damn it, that's what I was saying. It's the interpretation of what Jaquari feel the word failure means and what we feel it means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to me, failure.
That's what I was alluding to.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's the end just because you failed.
I don't
now.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no. See, that's what I'm saying. You have every right not to agree with what his interpretation of the word.
No, I'm not even questioning him. My being in the position I am in, if I'm asking the question about marriage and all that stuff, all I can give is my opinion about my experience. You know what I'm saying? But the difference is your situation is what it is, and you have to determine whether or not that means anything to you.
Yeah.
It's not predicated on my experience, because my experience is I chose to be stalwart in my situation.
Let me get these next couple comments, man, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Malika says, "What's the fear? Someone better will come along, or you want to be in a different position in your life. Don't get caught up in the list society tells us to create. Life will continue to give you obstacles, unmarried or married. Decide what kind of partnership you want." And that's real. That's real. And Cuz said, it's more of me getting caught up in society's listening and seeing all the marriages that did not last. Now, that's something that you both was alluding to in the first place, right? You know, it's just talking it over. And then Keith says, go ahead, Jaquan.
At some point, I mean, and that's something that's something that everybody goes through in their marriage, man. I believe, you know, this is fucked up. This ain't how it's supposed to be. This is not how I imagined it to be. You know, but once you make those adjustments, and you kind of shape things into the way you want them to be, you just are.
Yeah.
You just are, and you become accustomed to the work it's going to take for you to remain, you know, where you want to remain. It's going to take work. As much work as it took for you to get her, it's going to take that much work for you to keep her.
That's the truth. Because it's ever changing. No matter how much you love each other, no matter how much you cooperate, it's still evolving. Your relationship will always be revolving, man.
But you
evolving. I'm sorry, not revolving, evolving.
But here's the thing. I'm saying how you choose to move forward is predicated on what you feel strong at. You know what? I don't want to be alone, and I'm going to continue to be who I am, but I learn from my mistakes. And that's all I have. You know what I'm saying? That's all I have. And then you figure out who you can be, who you can have in your life, and build something from that, and them respecting that aspect of it. It doesn't involve the world. It doesn't. How the hell are you going to be in a relationship with somebody and your relationship is based on how society sees relationships? Where the hell has that ever worked?
Hey,
Damon, don't be unfair about it, because you have matured to the fact.
That to me.
No, I'm saying you have matured to the fact to understand that. Everybody has not matured to that. You understand what I'm saying?
I get that.
You worry about that. Hey, Jaquar, you said you were saying something?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I get that, but I've been with my wife 41 years, and I'm not bragging to say that. You want to know what's crazy about those 41 years we spent together? We went through our trials and tribulations. We raised our kids and all that stuff. And at this point, at 60 years old, you know the only thing I think about, man, if I can get back to that woman that I first met and we decided we wanted to travel and build a life and we were going to do all this stuff, that's what I think about. When is it time for me and her to do what we talked about we were going to do after we raised our family? For me, that's all it is. And sometimes I'm disparaged and I don't get it because life comes in the way. She had to teach me, hey, you know what? I understand we can escape all day. I understand that. But we got responsibilities. We got that. So it takes me to say, man, she's right. But that doesn't take away what my dream, hopes, and aspirations is. I want to get that mobile home and put her in that and travel the world and travel the country. I stand on that from the very beginning. And me standing on that, life happened. And isn't it funny how I came back to that? Which makes my life meaningful. I could look at my kids and say, hey, man, we put all of them through college. Hey, my grandbaby, she's secure. All these different things fell into place, what you're supposed to do. But my hopes, dreams, and aspirations is still with, man, if I can get this woman by my damn self, and her and us go do the things that we always talked about, I could go to my grave. That's where I'm at. I don't give a shit about the world, people's opinions, and how it's supposed to be. That's all I care about.
Hey, listen.
At some point, at what point am I right?
I look, but see, you have a goal. You put in the work. Now you have an end goal
Since
to where you want to
the
be.
same goal I had from the very beginning.
Exactly. Malika makes a good point. She said, fear robs us of our best selves. Doing nothing doesn't give you the opportunity to succeed. I think that's a great point.
You can't win if you don't play.
What they
If I can
say,
have,
what they say at the crib, you got to be in it to win it. That's some
hey,
real shit.
if I can have 6 months alone doing what we ain't heard talked about it from the very beginning, at the end of the day, y'all can have whatever the hell you want.
All right,
I mean,
here's the last
that's
statement.
literally how I feel about it.
There's the last statement, then we're gonna move on real quick to our next topic. I want y'all to give me, just something quick. Lawrence says programming is a MF. Outside influences take hold of our lives more than people want to admit. It's the truth. We care about what other people say. We really do. We really and truly do. We care about what they say. And Damon, this is for you. Cuz says, listen to everything I don't feel that fear. I was having all the questions I had and was answered about marriage. Okay, good. But we gave you some extra too, cuz that's what we do. Last question of the day, it's time to do what we have to do. But this is a simple question. And really quickly, Damon, do you have concerns about what's going on today?
If I'm being honest, if I wasn't if I wasn't secure in who I am and who I become, I would absolutely have fears. But in reality, I prepared myself and my loved ones. I gave them the blueprint. I spoke the truth. I said, hey man, this is what you're going to be facing with. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you how you decide how to adjust to it and to deal with it. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? If it's not affecting you, then continue to live your life until somebody comes in and try to disrupt it. And then we'll talk after that. Okay, this is how you navigate it. And continue to stay on the path. I came from Generation X. We was the transition from everything. Technology, all of it. You know what I'm saying? We was the kids who was left home by ourselves and had to fix our own meals. We understand how to survive. That's just what it is. That's my mentality. A problem crops up, I look for the solution. Okay, so how do I deal with this? You know what I'm saying? Pass or fail, I'm still coming up with solutions. That's just my constitution. I don't know anything else.
Okay. Jaquar, do you have concerns about what's going on today?
No, man. I'm starting to realize how numb I am actually. You know, survival mode is a bitch. You know, constantly thinking about damage control because the government is fucked up, or my job situation is getting difficult or whatever. It's I'm numb to it. Numb to it. And at this point, I just plan to go through the motions outside of my house. My house is my only concern right now. You know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, look, guys, another sizzler, man. This was hot. Thank you, Malika, D'Avion, Keith Barnes, Lawrence, everyone who clicked in with it. Eric, your comments were on time, insightful, and very much appreciated. All right. Any last words for the day, fellas?
Fellas, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation and I look forward to the next. Y'all be safe.
Love, peace,
Damon?
and stay blessed, man. Recognize your blessings.
Listen up. We here every Friday at 7:30. Go to our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Go check out the content. Go check out what we're about because we're about giving out messages. And if you look at this podcast, this episode today, this is for the young and the old. Because what we did was we sussed out how we felt and we was able to communicate it. See, that's what we're lacking is the fact that two things. We equally got to give people time to communicate how they feel without them feeling judged. Then secondly, formulating your mind exactly what you want and how you feel. You can streamline it, you can simplify it, or if you want to give us a long essay, fine. But be able to articulate how you feel to folks. That's all. We're gonna be here next week, 7:30. Like I said, go like, share, and subscribe. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. You lovely people, you have a great weekend and an equally great week next week.
Peace.
Good night.
Good night.